A major federal court ruling is now shaking up immigration enforcement in the United States. A judge in California has temporarily blocked a policy that allowed ICE officers to arrest migrants at or near immigration courthouses after hearings. Supporters call it a win for fairness and justice. Critics say it ties the hands of law enforcement, and this decision could ripple far beyond California. Here's what just happened and why it matters. Welcome back! We are following a fast-developing legal battle over immigration enforcement and courthouse arrests. A federal judge in California has temporarily halted a Trump-era policy that allowed Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, to detain migrants at or near immigration courthouses. The ruling has sparked a national debate over safety, fairness, and the role of the courts in immigration policy. And both sides are preparing for a longer legal fight. The policy at the center of this case allowed ICE officers to make arrests at immigration courthouses. These arrests typically happened after migrants attended required hearings. Federal officials argued this approach was practical and efficient. However, advocates said it created fear among migrants trying to follow the law. Now, a federal judge has stepped in and temporarily blocked the policy while the case continues in court. This is not a final decision, but a pause that could reshape national policy. The judge ruled that the policy may discourage migrants from attending court hearings, describing it as arbitrary and capricious. If individuals fear arrest at court, they may simply not show up. That could undermine the entire immigration court process, which became the basis for the temporary block. Civil rights groups welcomed the decision, arguing that courthouses should be safe spaces for legal participation, not places of fear or surprise arrests. Supporters say the justice system depends on people showing up. In their view, the ruling protects due process, the idea that everyone deserves a fair legal process. The Department of Homeland Security strongly disagrees with the ruling, calling it an example of judicial activism and interference with executive authority. Supporters of ICE policies argue that courthouse arrests are safer and more controlled than arrests in communities. They warn this ruling could weaken enforcement. For now, the ruling changes how enforcement can be carried out. ICE will need to adjust operations while the case continues, encouraging more attendance at hearings. But enforcement supporters say it could make it harder to locate individuals. The real-world impact is still unfolding, which is why this case is being watched so closely. This is only a temporary ruling. The legal fight is expected to continue in higher courts and could eventually reach the Supreme Court. Nothing is settled yet. Legal experts say this case goes beyond one policy. It raises a larger question. How far can the government go without discouraging court participation? If upheld, it could limit courthouse arrest policies nationwide. If overturned, it could strengthen federal authority. Either way, it sets a major national precedent. A federal judge has temporarily blocked a controversial immigration enforcement policy. Supporters say it protects fairness. Critics say it undermines law enforcement. The courts have not delivered a final answer. This case is far from over, and the stakes will only get higher. Stay tuned, because the next development could change everything.